We go from somebody who just snapped his leg to somebody who's going to get paid. Brian, earlier today, before we went on the air, you said to me in our preparatory phone call where you begged for another 5 minutes, we gotta update the Santos Escobar situation. And I said to you, what the did we say before and what's happened now? And apparently, by the time that we were able to record a segment for your program a few days ago, the Drive-Thru, and just as it was going up, we took that segment out so that we could update it because it's out of date, in that this whole saga with Escobar, he's going to leave, he's not, he's going to leave, he ain't going to leave. Oh, I didn't leave. It's escalating. What the hell is going on?
Right, and we're going to play that audio, which originally was intended for the Drive-Thru, and we held it back for this very reason. We'll play it here shortly, but Santos Escobar, former member of the LWO, Legado del Fantasma, formerly El Fantasma, or Io del Fantasma.
I actually thought that LFG, the WWE LFG, was a goddamn show that they'd made just for the LG. What was the
LGD?
LGD.
Yes.
El Legado del LD. What were they? The LDS? Are they Mormons? What are they? The Legends of the Phasmas.
Phantasma.
I thought that.
Not Phasma.
I thought it was LFG was that also.
Well, I don't know where I was going, but the point is we're going to play this audio. When we last recorded, the story going around was his WWE contract expired. They made an effort to renew him. He didn't necessarily agree with what they wanted, and he was ready to move on. We heard that AEW was interested, that there was at least some sort of internal conversation about bringing Santos Escobar under a different name, I would presume, because that's a WWE name.
Yeah.
Maybe El Fantasma, but who knows. Into AEW, where you could see why that would be a fit for Tony's tastes, but also for CMLL, where we do have this relationship, and as we talk about in this clip, that's a big part of the story, I think, the CMLL AAA thing, and who owns AAA, and who's on the side of CMLL. But I think that's where we left it, was that is everything that had happened.
Yes, we were opining about all those things, and I may just want to go back to Mexico and potentially work for AEW and get paid by a millionaire or whatever. Nothing offensive or anything like that, but that's where we left.
That's where we left it. Presuming, as people had, that he may sign with AEW anytime now. If he's free and clear with no non-compete, it could happen at any moment. Well, as we were recording this segment, apparently WWE reached out and made an agreement with Santos Escobar. We heard it was a multi-year deal. We heard an amount of money that was staggering. I mean, it would be the craziest thing of all time if he didn't sign this deal if what we heard was true, and I believe it is. But it's an incredible amount of money. It speaks to how much they're spending on wrestlers. It also makes you wonder, again, was the priority keeping him from AEW? Was the priority keeping him from CMLL? Or does WWE see something right now in the position they're in where they could use Santos Escobar and really get a benefit out of it?
Well, let's go back to say what we said, and then we'll come back and talk about what we're about to say.
Well, here it is, originally recorded for, what episode was this? Drive-Thru 413. Here's Jim and I talking about Santos Escobar. We'll be back on the other side. Let's talk a little bit more about WWE news before we review what you watched this past week. Word came out today. I have an article here from SI, formerly Sports Illustrated, The Takedown, SI.com, by John Alba. WWE superstar expected to sign with AEW after being moved to alumni section. Hours after rumors of his departure from WWE began to spread, it appears one former WWE champion is indeed gone from the company. Santos Escobar
good Lord.
spent 5 years in WWE and had a notable run in NXT following his debut in 2020. However, reports surfaced Monday afternoon, after months of social media teases, that Escobar would be leaving WWE on his own volition upon the expiration of his contract at midnight. On Tuesday morning, WWE informally confirmed the news. The former leader of Legado del Fantasma was officially moved to the company's alumni section of its website, indicating he has indeed left WWE.
Indicating he has indeed gone about his future endeavors.
The 41-year-old signed with WWE initially in 2019 after a successful run in Mexico, specifically CMLL, as El Hijo del Fantasma. He spent 3 years on the WWE main roster, and aside from leading Legado del Fantasma, was also a part of the re-established Latino World Order. He has not had a match on television since June. But now if I scroll down, as Tony Khan's AEW bills itself as where the best wrestle, Escobar is rumored to be on his way over to try and prove he fits the moniker.
What?
Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Radio covered Escobar's WWE departure, where it was stated that the former NXT Cruiserweight Champion is expected to sign with AEW.
Jesus Christ.
It was noted that WWE officials were all aware that Escobar was leaving the company, and it was widely
and didn't care.
And it was widely believed he would be AEW bound.
And didn't care.
Of note, AEW has an active working relationship with CMLL, while WWE purchased AAA Lucha Libre earlier this year. Escobar enjoyed a lengthy run in CMLL, we said that already. What do you think about the idea, on the heels of Andrade coming out, with his hair out, as I put
now,
it?
Wait a minute, don't say it like that.
Coming out to confront Kenny Omega is what I meant. You went in a different direction. The other direction.
Out. Yes. I want the world to know.
Well,
to let it show.
Now that Andrade has arrived.
Yes, and he is here.
What do you think about the idea that Santos Escobar, formerly in the LWO with 4 other wrestlers and a woman, what do you think about the idea that Santos Escobar could possibly be AEW bound? And again, he'd be able to wrestle in CMLL.
Well, and there you go. It sounds like that's what he needs to be doing. First of all, when you were building that up, I thought it was going to be, some shocking name here. My God, this is breaking news. Come on. Is this going to make any difference to the program that Mr. Escobar is no longer on it? He's been floating around in shit that we didn't watch, and probably many other people didn't either, for quite a while now. And if there have been teases that he was leaving since, what'd you say, July, August? That's about 3 months ago. They were probably nice enough to him. Hey, your contract's expiring. You want to go home? You want to go somewhere else? Please feel free. Because if they're already saying he's expected to sign with AEW, then the WWE office would have known that and would not have given a shit, because why? Why would they? And if all these other more major names didn't make a difference, then why is this guy? But on the other side, Jesus Christ, I wonder if Tony's got a fucking tanker truck ready for when the stars of the WWE dump their fucking mobile home trailer fucking dressing room toilets so he can take their turds home.
I have a quote here, Jim, from Sean Ross Sapp. WWE sources confirmed to Fightful Select this morning that Santos Escobar's contract is up, quote, very soon, and it hasn't looked like he'll be staying. The company has made attempts to re-sign him, but he passed on the offers. Usually, the only people who make that move are going to OnlyFans. So this is you're going to one fan, Tony.
Well, but again, is it? Well, here's the offer. Well, it's okay. It's whatever the fuck it is. It's like not what he wanted for himself, so he's going to go and potentially bilk the billionaire out of more money. But if they wanted him, they would have kept him. The offer would have been fine. If if for some reason, again, after Andrade, now this, just taking middle card underneath guys, and if he is making a bigger offer than the WWE made, then does that upset the AEW locker room? Well, this fucking schlub comes in having done basically blah, and he's getting $1 million or whatever now. But I know it's hard for the guys to get mad at Tony, because think about this. He's taken a bunch of guys in their 20s that would never have made any money in a wrestling business, and he's paying them from who knows the figures that we hear. But if you get a job when you're 25 years old making $750,000 a year for 5 years, do you ever need to work again unless you're an idiot? So I know they might not want to get mad at him, but at the same time, what the fuck? How many more people do they need that already they don't use half the roster, who disappears for months at a time? But if he brings this guy in and puts him over anybody meaningful, what the fuck has he been doing in the other? So the guy that the other company didn't really want to keep, or that kept him, probably wants to go home and work CMLL because they're the hottest promotion in the world as far as selling tickets. But if he goes to AEW, then Tony's paying him more than he was making in the WWE. He can work at home too. But if he beats any of the AEW guys, you got a schlub that never won from the WWE beating meaningful people in the AEW.
I think he's a really talented wrestler. And I think I remember saying to you before he turned heel, he's really good as a babyface that you just kind of feel like, yeah, I like this guy. He was so happy with Rey Mysterio that he turned heel, and he kind of just got completely lost in the shuffle. I mean, the LWO was kind of just thrown together. And then again, everything kind of just, he's been off TV since June. I haven't heard anyone say anything. Hey, I missed that guy. Where's that guy? No one. That's Nobody. A while. Again, I think he's a talented wrestler. The issue becomes AEW has plenty of talented wrestlers for the middle of the card. They don't have main eventers, and they don't have stars. And I think this guy's really good, but I don't think he's a main eventer in AEW, let's say.
If he goes to CMLL, he very well could be, but are they making money comparable, even if they are selling out, comparable to what they're paying the middle card guys in WWE because they print their own money?
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if he shows up on Dynamite for Title Tuesday or any other day of the week. And that wasn't as good as the other one. There we go. We need to go deeper, and here we are. We have just gone deeper and...
deeper and deeper, deeper, baby.
Jim, Santos Escobar...
Boy, they went deep in their pockets. They went deep in their pockets because after we said all of that, as you mentioned right before we went to the clip, the WWE has come to terms with him. We have heard for a ridiculous, in my opinion, amount of money, but does it speak to, do they want Santos Escobar for their existing programming, or do they want it? Do they want him more for this fight that's shaping up for the domination of the country of Mexico, AAA versus CMLL, and potential Hispanic inroads? Or is it something else that we have not uncovered as of yet to why they would want to keep this person from leaving? Does he have pictures in a brown manila envelope?
Maybe he knows lots of ladies.
Elaborate on that, please.
Maybe
I'm waiting for details. Hey, I'm taking notes.
Hey, I'm going to Chicago. Do you know anyone? Oh, yeah, I know some ladies. I'll hook you up. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. Who knows why? Look, talented wrestler, well-spoken from what I've seen, can do babyface or heel, has been booked under, has been just off their TV, I think, for a good while now. Yeah, so they got to do something differently.
He may have been featured, but was not necessarily relied upon or made tremendously interesting when he was on the television.
But I will say this, if the amount of money we heard is true, and I believe it is, that's enough money to make me say, you know what, fuck CMLL. I'm over here now. And we'll see if that's really what the play is that he could be slotted in a spot in AAA at the top of the card. He's someone WWE has faith in, or at least it's not Andrade. They're not saying, let's get the fuck away from this guy now.
Yeah.
So I would have to think that would be the priority more than anything, because other than that, what's it going to be? SmackDown? He's barely been used on that show forever, and same thing with Raw.
But we can also insinuate or extrapolate when they were trying to sign him for when they were originally trying to sign him for the offer that they had given previously, which again, what we heard probably around half of what, not even half of maybe what he ended up getting. They were thinking, well, we're going to do this thing with him potentially in AAA or whatever, but we don't need to tell him that because he'll want more money. So they were just going to sign him for, again, what in the real world and in the previous 120 years of history of wrestling would have been just buku of money for a guy at his level. But now he's making double or more of that. They didn't just have oh shit, I got a great idea from this guy that we were going to let go last week if he didn't want to take this chintzy offer we gave, so we got to pay him double or triple now. They didn't just do that. So they were going to do what they were going to do all along. They just figured they could pay him less. One would think.
Well, again, if what we heard is true, he got an increase in pay is not even the proper term. It's more like a doubling in pay. It makes you wonder, A, what their priorities are with him, but bigger picture, beyond the legato of Phantasma, how much are they going to start paying guys who are not main eventers? And, we talked about Tony elevating the pay scale. That's really been one of his big weapons from day one. Again, we're not going to say numbers, but if they're paying him what I think they're paying him, and if they've paid others in a similar position what I think and know they've paid those people, they may be cutting the discrepancy between how much Tony pays and how much they pay. And I don't know if it's because of Tony or if, again, they're making so much money they can. That's the other thing we've always talked about. They're making so much money now, not even when Vince had it and he was making so much money. They're making so much money. If they wanted to, they could give every wrestler, double, triple what they're paying them. They could. I don't know where they're going with this, but that's going to be the interesting thing, how this affects the pay scale going forward.